Welcome back, Summoners, to another ProGuides mid-patch analysis video. My name is Christoph, and today I'll be going over all the strongest champions using fresh statistics to give you guys the most accurate tier list available. We encourage all of you guys to comment on our tier list and champion placements, and say if you agree or disagree with us on certain placements. A lot has changed since the beginning of the patch, and there's a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. The top lane tier list sees a ton of changes compared to the one we had at the start of the patch. The top lane meta didn't shift as much as our analysts predicted, and our tier list pretty much reverted to the one back in patch 9.6. Starting from the top in our S tier, we have Kayle, Riven, Jax, Urgot, Hecarim, and Vladimir. Kayle received some heavy nerfs at the start of the patch, but it appears that some of the changes were not heavy enough to knock her out of the S tier status. She still holds the highest win rate in the top lane and remains a powerhouse pick. Her ability to pretty much 1v5 the enemy team once she hits level 16 is still there and makes her a highly contested pick. If you're struggling to beat Kayle in your solo queue games, our analysts recommend you pick up Tryndamere or Jax. These two champions have very good win rates against her and will give you the edge you need to consistently beat her. Urgot recently received a mini rework which has increased his play rate a ton. However, he also received a few nerfs at the start of patch 9.7, which led our analysts to predict that he will only be an A tier pick. These nerfs clearly weren't enough to drop him from his Urgot status, and he'll be moved back up to our S tier in our mid-patch analysis video. If you're struggling to beat Urgot in the top lane, then our analysts recommend you pick up Kayle or Vayne. These two champions can easily kite Urgot at a safe range and beat him with ease. Cho'Gath also had a few buffs made to him in the past few patches, but it still seems that he's only a B tier top laner. The current top lane meta makes it hard for Cho'Gath to compete due to how heavily he gets out-traded in most scenarios. Cho will need a lot of love for him to return to his former glory. Dr. Mundo was a highly anticipated pick for this patch. Many professional and high elo players predicted that his huge buffs would make the Doc S tier. But his win rate only increased by a small amount. Our analysts have concluded that he is on the border of S and A tier, but we'll leave him in our A tier list for now. Dr. Mundo will still be a great pickup for the top lane, and he might even make the push to S tier for our next tier list. For patch 9.6, our analysts recommend you pick up Rumble in the top lane. He received some fantastic buffs at the start of the patch, and a lot of pro players have been playing him more often. Give him a try and let us know what you guys think down below. The jungle tier list sees a lot of changes from our last patch video. It looks like League of Tanks isn't coming back this patch despite buffs to Cinderhulk and nerfs to jungle EXP efficiency. Carry junglers are still the way to go, and champions like Rek'Sai, Jarvan, Hecarim, Kha'Zix, and Kindred are the best to climb with. For all the junglers out there, if you guys are interested in climbing as well, check out ProGuides.com where we have a course with Nightblue. He'll teach you all the advanced concepts you need to know to start climbing the ranks with jungle. Some notable A tier picks that are on the brink of making it to S tier are Karthus, Vi, Udyr, Evelynn, Kayn, and Xin Zhao. These champions are very good for solo queue, and we highly recommend you pick up a handful of them this patch. Kindred is sitting at the top of the tier list and is the strongest jungler in the meta right now. A lot of teams in the LCS have been prioritizing her in the jungle due to just how strong she is. No jungler can beat her 1v1 at the first crab if you kite properly, and she counters some of the best junglers in the meta right now, such as Jarvan. Please do keep in mind that she's difficult to play, so you might want to play her in a few normal games and practice with her beforehand. Urgot jungle has seen a lot of play ever since his rework and will be placed in our B tier for this patch. He's still a great pick, but just not as good as he was before due to the nerfs made to him at the start of 9.7. If you guys are interested in playing Urgot jungle, then make sure to subscribe and click the bell to get our next YouTube guide, which is going to be how to play Urgot jungle. That'll be released later on this week. For patch 9.7, our analysts recommend you pick up Hecarim in the jungle. He's super good right now, and the current rank 1 player in NA, Surenfire, has used him to climb the ladder of Challenger. Hecarim is different from other junglers. His playstyle is more reactive to enemy laners' mistakes rather than proactive depending on lane setup. Try him out in your next few games, and you'll see your LP go up in no time. The mid lane tier list for our mid-patch analysis video will remain very similar to the one we had previously. In our S tier, we have the same 6 champions from the start of the patch, who are Zed, Kassadin, Ahri, Vladimir, Taliyah, and Talon. Taliyah is definitely an S tier pick right now if you know how to play her. Her roaming potential, wave clear, and high burst make her a big threat right now, and many pro players have been spamming her in solo queue. Ahri's GLP build is still strong and has one of the highest win rates in mid lane. The slows from GLP and Glacial Augment make it very easy to land your skill shots and kill your opponents with ease. Try her out and let us know in the comments what you think. Lissandra had a huge nerf made to her Q's cooldown at the start of the patch. It looks like our analysts were right and she's only a B tier champion at best. Her early wave clear made it easy to blind pick her into any matchup, but now she's only used as a counter pick to certain matchups. However, don't be alarmed if you see Lissandra in competitive matches in the future. She's still a solid champion against specific team compositions. Sylas also had a huge nerf made to his kit in the start of patch 9.7. It does seem though that these nerfs were a bit too much and he's sitting at one of the lowest win rates in the game. However, our analysts believe that this isn't due to him being extremely weak, but rather that people are still adjusting to his new playstyle. Thus, Sylas will be placed in our A tier for our mid-patch analysis video, but we'll keep a close eye on him for the next patch. For this patch, our analysts recommend you pick up Corki in the mid lane. Although you don't see him often, he's insanely strong during the mid to late game and can easily 1v9 a game. Corki has been seeing some more play in the LCK and LPL currently and is definitely a solid champion. Try him out and let us know how that goes. The ADC tier list remains very similar to the one we had at the start of the patch. In our S tier, we have Sivir, Kai'Sa, Lucian, Misfortune, and Jinx. These 5 champions are great pickups for your solo queue grind, and you should try them all out. Vayne is still sitting by herself at the top of our S+ tier. It seems right now that Vayne has almost no weak spots during the game, and is clearly a notch above the rest. Wit's End received a rework at the start of this patch, and it feels like a great purchase on a lot of champions. I personally tried it out on Vayne, Kai'Sa, and Kog'Maw, and it feels really powerful. When you're against an all-AP comp, try building Wit's End as a third item, and you'll see just how strong the healing and defensive stats are. A lot of you were wondering why Misfortune was placed in our S tier in our last video. Well, Misfortune has had a new OP build that's been appearing all over the world. The build goes like this: Blade of the Ruined King Rush with Press the Attack and then full lethality. The burst from this build is out of this world, and you can auto-win the laning phase with an empowered Q plus follow-up auto attacks. Try this build out in your next few normal games. It's super fun to watch your opponent's HP bars melt away after only one ability. Ezreal received some heavy nerfs a few patches ago, with Tyr becoming a unique item, but he's still sitting comfortably in our A tier. He'll remain a great pick for solo queue and might make the push to S tier depending on how the meta shifts in the future. Notable players such as TSM's Sven are still playing him in competitive matches, and it's been bringing him decent results. For patch 9.7, our analysts recommend you pick up Kai'Sa in the bottom lane. Her Stormrazor Rush build is really good right now, and it's very satisfying to have your Q and E upgrades in a short amount of time. Just make sure that you don't underestimate Kai'Sa's skill cap. She's more difficult than what most people perceive, so make sure to have lots of practice with her before dashing into ranked. The support tier list remains very similar to the one we had at the start of the patch. Starting with the S tier, we have Janna, Morgana, Thresh, Soraka, Nami, and Pyke. Shielding supports are making a comeback in this meta and will bring you the best results. A few playmaking supports such as Pyke, Thresh, and Morgana are also great pickups for this patch, but will require more practice than the other supports. Although Morgana was nerfed quite heavily not too long ago, she's still sitting at the top of our support tier list and is very strong in the right hands. Her Black Shield is one of the strongest peeling abilities in the game and can be absolutely game-changing if timed correctly. In addition, she's one of the easiest champions when it comes to proccing your Spell Thief's Edge, which will lead you to having wards faster. Give her a try next time you're autofilled in support. For patch 9.7, our analysts recommend you pick up Taric in the bottom lane. He's been seeing a lot more play in the current meta, and he's very underrated right now. If you have a friend to duel with, then you can even try out the new Taric plus Sona bot lane that was played by Cloud9 and Cloud9 Academy in North America. Give it a try and let us know how that goes. That's it for our mid-patch analysis video for 9.7. If you guys enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to our channel to be notified for our next video, which is how to play the OP Urgod jungle. If you guys are interested in increasing your rank this season, then please check out ProGuides.com, where we have the best guides from all of your favorite pro players. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, good luck in your next few games, and we'll see you on the Rift.